Imagine earning $1 million this year and legally paying zero income tax on it. Not a loophole, not a scheme. A country, smaller than Central Park, where that is the law since 1869. But before you book a flight, you need to hear what that 0% actually costs you. Because honestly, it is not cheap, and most people never make it past step 1. Monaco, 2 square kilometers, 38,000 residents, 125 nationalities, and over 40% of those residents are millionaires. This is not just a vacation destination. This is the most densely populated tax haven on Earth, and it has been quietly attracting the world's wealthiest people for over 150 years. But here is what nobody tells you in the travel videos. Monaco has rules, financial rules, real estate rules, and yeah, a waiting game that can take months before they even hand you a card. So let's break it all down. The taxes, the real costs, the salaries, the real estate numbers, and whether Monaco is actually accessible to someone who is not yet a billionaire. Because the answer might surprise you. Let's start with the reason everyone comes here, the tax. Monaco has had zero personal income tax since 1869. That means if you are a resident of Monaco, your salary, your dividends, your capital gains, your investment returns, all of it taxed at 0%. To put that in real numbers, if you earn 200,000 euros a year and you live in France, you hand roughly 80,000 euros to 90,000 euros to the government. In Germany, similar story. In the UK, you would lose around 80,000 euros above your personal allowance. In Monaco, you keep all 200,000 euros. Every single euro. Now, there is one exception. If you are a French national, this deal does not apply to you. Under a bilateral treaty signed in 1963, French citizens living in Monaco are still taxed as French residents. So that 0% does not exist for them unless they can prove they lived in Monaco before October 1962. And this is where it gets interesting. There is also no wealth tax, no capital gains tax, no inheritance tax on assets held outside Monaco, no property tax on what you own. But here is what most people skip. Monaco does have a 20% VAT on all goods and services, exactly like France. So every time you buy something, eat out, or use a service, that 20% is built in. It is not a deal breaker, but it is real. And for companies, if your business earns more than 25% of its revenue outside Monaco, you pay a 25% corporate tax. So Monaco is not a free-for-all for every type of business. But for individuals, for investors, remote earners, entrepreneurs drawing a Monaco salary, the math is undeniable. Now you might be thinking, okay, I'm in. To become a Monaco resident, you do not need to buy a yacht or own a villa, but you do need to prove you can afford to live here. And the minimum bar is set very precisely. Here is exactly what you need to do, step by step. Step 1. Find housing. You must sign a lease or purchase an apartment in Monaco. The lease must be a minimum of 1 year and registered with the tax department. For a single person, a studio or 1 bedroom is acceptable. For a couple or family, the property must be sized appropriately for your household. And you are going to want to know those rental numbers before you commit. We will cover those in a minute. Step 2. Open a bank account with a Monaco registered bank and deposit a minimum of 500,000 euros. This money is not lost. It stays in your account. But it must remain there as long as you hold residency. Some banks, especially private banks, ask for 1 million euros or more to open the relationship at all. This is their own requirement, not the government's. Step 3. Provide proof of good character. A police certificate from every country you have lived in for the last 5 years. Translated into French. Notarized, less than 3 months old. Step 4. Attend a personal interview with the Monaco Public Security Department. They will review your application, check your documents, and ask about your intentions. If all goes well, you receive a 1-year temporary residence card in 4 to 6 weeks. After 3 years, you upgrade to a 3-year card. After 10 years of continuous residency, you can apply for the privileged 10-year card, essentially permanent status. Now, the residency itself also requires you to spend at least 183 days per year physically in Monaco. No disappearing to your beach house for 7 months. This is a real move. And here is something almost no video mentions. Non-EU citizens need to first get a French long-stay visa before they can even apply. That means going through the French consulate in your home country before setting foot in Monaco to apply. The process can take 4 to 5 months for non-EU nationals. If you can clear those hurdles, and not everyone can, then you are ready for what might be the most brutal real estate market on the planet. Monaco's real estate is not just expensive, it is actually the most expensive on Earth, officially. As of 2025, the average price per square meter in Monaco is between 52,000 euros and 57,000 euros, depending on the district. The most prestigious areas like Carré d'Or or the Larvotto seafront regularly exceed 80,000 euros to 100,000 euros per square meter. To put that in real terms, a 100 square meter apartment, that's just a modest 3-bedroom, costs between 5 million euros and 10 million euros to buy. A studio apartment about 20 to 30 square meters starts at around 900,000 euros. And honestly, that's for the cheaper end of the market. The most expensive newly built apartment ever sold in Monaco went for more than 100,000 euros per square meter. Property values have risen 78% in the last decade, and Knight Frank forecasts another 4% increase in 2025. Why? Because Monaco cannot grow outward. It is surrounded by sea and France. The only direction is up, and occasionally into the sea. Monaco's newest development, Mariterra, is a €2 billion artificial landmass reclaimed from the Mediterranean, adding 110 apartments to the market. Now, if you cannot or do not want to buy, you rent. And renting is not exactly a relief on the wallet. A studio, about 30 to 40 square meters, goes for 2,500 euros to 5,000 euros per month. A one-bedroom apartment, 3,000 euros to 9,000 euros per month. Two-bedroom apartment, 6,000 euros to 15,000 euros per month. In Carré d'Or, rent per square meter averages 190 euros per month. Rents in Monaco rose between 8% and 15% in the first half of 2025 alone. The rental market is so competitive that agents report new listings attract dozens of applications within hours. And here is the irony. Gross rental yields in Monaco are only around 2.5% to 3%. Buyers are not here for yield, they are here for the lifestyle, the tax savings, and the long-term appreciation of the rarest real estate on Earth. So, you need $500,000 in the bank, an address in Monaco you can actually afford, and a clean criminal record. And then the real question is, what job sustains all of this? Now here is something that surprises a lot of people. Monaco has real jobs. Significant ones. In 2024, Monaco had over 75,000 active jobs. That's a 25% increase over the last decade. The Principality's economy is not just casinos and yachts. It is finance, private banking, wealth management, tech, maritime law, luxury retail, and hospitality. The median gross salary in Monaco's private sector in 2024 was 3,339 euros per month. The average was 4,931 euros. But those numbers hide enormous sector gaps. Finance and insurance average 6,613 euros per month. That's the highest paid sector. Information and communication, 4,244 euros per month. Wholesale trade, 3,914 euros per month. Retail, 3,049 euros per month. Investment banking or fund management, 120,000 euros to 150,000 euros plus per year. Now here is where it gets mathematically interesting. Take a finance professional earning 8,000 euros per month gross. In France, after income tax, social charges, and contributions, they might keep around 5,200 euros to 5,500 euros net. In Monaco, if they are a resident, they keep essentially the full €8,000 gross, minus small employee social contributions of roughly 10 to 14%. That is a difference of over €25,000 per year simply from where they sleep at night. But there's a catch. Some professions are legally restricted to Monegasque citizens. Lawyers and doctors, for example, cannot practice in Monaco as foreigners, regardless of their qualifications. If you plan to work as a professional in those fields, Monaco is not your destination. For everyone else, especially finance professionals, tech workers, executives, consultants, and entrepreneurs, Monaco actively wants skilled workers. Work permits are sponsored by employers, and with 75,000 jobs in a population of 38,000, the majority of Monaco's workforce commutes in from France or Italy. You do not have to live there to work there, but only residents get the full tax advantage. So after all of that, the 0% income tax, the €500,000 bank deposit, the €52,000 per square meter real estate, the restricted professions, and the 183 days you need to physically be there, who does Monaco actually work for? If you earn north of €200,000 per year, the tax savings alone can cover a significant portion of your rent. Someone earning €500,000 annually in France is losing roughly €225,000 to income tax. In Monaco, that becomes near zero. That is enough to rent a very decent apartment for the year, and then some. Investors and passive income earners win enormously. No capital gains tax means your portfolio compounds faster, your dividends land in full, and your real estate appreciation is never clawed back by the state. Retirees with significant wealth benefit just as much. No inheritance tax on Monaco's situated assets for direct descendants. No wealth tax eroding your capital. And one of the safest, most stable governments in Europe. Monaco has been under the Grimaldi family since 1297. But here is the honest reality check. If you earn €60,000 or €80,000 per year, Monaco is a financial trap. Your rent alone will consume your entire salary. The cost of living, groceries, restaurants, services, is 22% higher than Singapore, 40% higher than Paris, and roughly double most European capitals. A basic lunch in the business district costs €23 to €30. There is also a real social cost. Monaco is one of the densest places on Earth, 38,000 people in 2 square kilometers. The crowds, the noise, the absence of open land. It is not for everyone, and despite the glamour, life here is lived in apartments, not on estates. The people who thrive in Monaco are not just the ultra-rich, they are the deliberately rich, people who structured their finances specifically to extract maximum value from a zero-tax environment. They earn their income in high-margin work, invest consistently, keep their capital in Monaco banks, and stay the required 183 days, because they plan to. For the right person, Monaco is not a luxury. It is honestly the highest return financial decision they have ever made. Monaco is not a fairy tale for anyone, but for the right person, with the right income, the right structure, and the right plan. It is one of the most powerful financial addresses on the planet. Zero income tax, no capital gains, no wealth tax, 2 square kilometers, and a €500,000 entry ticket that stays in your own account. Now you know the real numbers, not the postcard version, the actual version. If you want us to run the full financial comparison for Monaco versus other low-tax destinations, Dubai, Andorra, Malta, Singapore, just drop it in the comments. We will build that episode around your questions. And if this video gave you something real, something you did not know before, consider subscribing. We cover cost of living, taxes, real estate, and expat opportunities around the world with real data every single week. See you in the next one.